And we're live. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome back to Level Up with Naomi, where we empower and lift each other up. So, thank you. I know people will be joining us live. Thank you for those who will be joining us live and for those who will be watching the replay. Thank you so much for your time. You are greatly appreciated. Um, so, I have one question for you. Have you ever wondered why you're here? What's your purpose? Is your life where you want it to be? So today's topic is entitled Live Your Life by Design and Not by Default. Today we will learn to become more self aware and understand your purpose and have some tools to begin the process to design your best life. So I'm really excited. I'm excited for this topic today with our guest speaker. So the wonders of technology. I met her online, even though I've learned that we used to be neighbors. Yeah, we were neighbors before we moved. So Colleen Biggs is an award-winning peak performance consultant with over 20 years of experience, has launched over 340 businesses. She is an international speaker, an author to several bestsellers, with the latest being Step into the Spotlight to Expand Your Influence. She is also the CEO of several businesses, including Lead App for Women, where I found her. It is a community that boasts tens of thousands of female entrepreneurs that are driven by their passions. They support and promote others with a purpose to fuel female voices with um, power that are leading the way for all women worldwide to dominate the entrepreneurial market. So, to learn more about the Lead for Women community members and how you too can take this bold action for you, I've actually added and share the link in the description section of this episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends, please help me welcome Miss Colleen Biggs.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
So good. It's Saturday morning and we woke up again. We have another day. I'm so excited.
Yes, another day to be thankful, another day to make a difference, right?
That's right. I love that
Yes,
you said that, Naomi. It's another day to make a difference. So I always ask people, what are you going to do with today? Right? Today's going to become
yes.
yesterday and we're not promised tomorrow. So we only have today.
Yep, we should make it count.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before anything, Colleen, sorry. Um, thank you so much for your time. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for your time and
Yeah.
for being very flexible and patient with me. So I
Absolutely.
guess my first question would be, can you tell us something interesting about yourself most people don't know?
Yeah, well, I will. People in my community that are closest to me know that I have 7 children and 11 grandkids, but that usually blows everybody away. We have number 12 and 13 on the way right now. So they're pregnant, they're due, in March and in September. So excited for that, and which is great because I don't believe we have too many birthdays right now in March and September. But when you have 11 grandkids and 7 kids, there's a lot of birthdays that fall. It seems like April's a month where everyone has a birthday, and June, and so there's certain months where we have a lot of birthdays. And the other thing a lot of people don't know about me is I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. So a lot of people don't know that about me. I don't have it, written in too many places, although I've consulted with a lot of marketing directors and I've started to add it to things like LinkedIn. Because it's just some fun, shocking things about you that get conversations started. So
Yes, because usually they people would know you in just one when
Yeah.
like you lead
Mhm.
this women and
Yeah,
as
like,
a
I'm a
business
female
person.
pioneer for
Yeah,
entrepreneurs, and I help them launch businesses, so
yeah,
I'm all business, but people don't know that I can put a black belt on and be a
I
badass
know,
too, right?
right?
So
Hmm. Be careful then.
yeah.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
didn't.
placed as a black belter.
Yeah, it's interesting because I get that reaction, Naomi, from a lot of people when they find out I'm a black belt. And the lessons I learned from being a black belt has a lot to do with what our topic is today is about living your life by design. I had to take the steps to decide that I wanted to get over some mental roadblocks that I had. I had to take the steps and put the effort in every week when I went to class, several times a week, when I would step in the ring to fight, when I would perform in front of judges and be judged. I had to take those steps because I wanted to push my body past a physical limit of what I thought was possible, and my mind past what I thought I could do. And so there were many times when I was stuck, and mentally I was not believing in myself, and so I physically was incapable of doing things like breaking a board. And this is real stuff. So because my mind told me that I couldn't do it, because that's what I believed, I couldn't break the board. But when I would relax and allow myself to believe and had the support and the accountability of my master that was in the dojo, and he believed in me and he knew I could do it because I'd done it in the past, and he fueled that fire and helped me believe in me, then I was able to do it. And that's about living your life by design, because if we sit back and let everything happen to us, we're living our life by default. We're just letting things happen around us with zero control.
You are right. So,
Yeah.
so when I was young, so I'm the only girl among four siblings, right? So I used to do that, and then I stopped. My father was like, when it's about time for me to like be in the ring and start fighting, I'm like, that's not for you anymore. Maybe it's not too late for me,
It's
huh?
not too late for you. When my husband and I were in our 40s and 50s, when we no, now we're 50 and 60, but we're 40s and 50s. So we were not 30s or 20s doing this. This was after we raised the kids. We had no more activities. We used to go to, basketball games and football games and soccer and baseball and volleyball, and we would split, you go there, I'll go here. And we were constantly going to all the kids' games, and we were never home at night. And then when we were home at night, we just kind of looked at each other like, this is really weird. What should we do with our time now that we have time for us to do things that we love to do? What would we like to do? And we just found this advertisement. And I remember the first time we went, Naomi, Taekwondo is about self-defense. It's about respect for your body, respect for other people. They don't teach you to fight, to be aggressive. It's not like Karate Kid, right? Or
Mhm.
like Cobra Kai or whatever everyone's watching out there where they're aggressive. It's more like what Karate Kid teaches, which is like Miyagi Do, right? It's all about defense. And so when you're a female like I am, and I'm traveling all over the United States and into different countries, and I'm going to all by myself, staying in hotel rooms and in parking lots that are dark by myself a lot, I need to have the confidence to know that I can protect myself. And it's not about getting into a fight with someone. Most of the time, they say, if you can run and get away from it, run, right? The goal
Mhm.
is to not engage. The goal is to protect yourself, but get away, because it's obvious that, I used to practice with men that were, 6'4" and 280 pounds. I
Yeah.
am 5'1" and I'm like soaking wet 110 pounds. You know what I mean? So I'm a very small person. So if you look at that, it's almost impossible for me to be able to take down someone of that size. The goal is to just get away from them so they can't, get a hold of you. It's really what it's about. So, but
Yes.
it was about my confidence, knowing I could defend myself. And I keep coming back to the mind and the belief, because I believe I can defend myself no matter where I go, which gives me a sense of confidence, which actually deters anyone that would want to engage with me, because they prey, people that are attackers, or they prey on the weak. Isn't that always been the deal? When you have bullies in school, they don't prey on the ones that are confident and
Mm,
they're scared of. They only prey on the weak. So when
very
you're not weak, but this is in every area in our life, this is a lesson in every area in our life. When you're confident and strong in business and you present yourself that way, that's how people see you. When you're confident in your decisions you're making in your marriage or with your children or as a mom, that's how your children see you. When we're wavering, we're not sure, we're not confident, we don't know how to make decisions, because what if we did make a decision and we were wrong? Who cares? Who cares if you were wrong,
yes,
right? 9 times
yes,
out
that
of
is
10 you're
perfect.
probably going to be right, but
Mm,
you got to take those risks. That's why I run programs called Leap, right? It's about taking the leap in your life. It's about leading up. It's about being the one that makes the decision, and that's the only way you can live your life truly by design, is making those
very
decisions. So it was a good decision for me. And again, I believe every single female, and I don't care what age you are, should go to a dojo and learn how to defend herself. My dojo ran self-defense classes for females, and I invited my daughter-in-laws, my daughters, all my friends, because I wanted them all to go and learn how to defend themselves. It's so important and so crucial for our self-confidence.
very true. So, in addition to that, like because I did it when I was really young, I really love the that when they teach about self control and discipline. It's like, yeah. So I'm like, everybody should be doing this because it's really,
It
yeah,
bleeds into every area of your life. When you learn how to have self-control and you learn discipline, you that bleeds into every area. So then you're disciplined in your work, you're disciplined in your relationships, you're disciplined in your word, right? Your word is your bond with someone, and you're loyal to that. So I love to watch younger children in Taekwondo or any type of martial arts where they teach that type of self control and respect, because they have a greater respect for their parents. They have a greater respect for themselves, their bodies. And in today's world, especially for girls, young girls, and women, society and culture tells us our bodies have to be a certain way. And it's not about your body looking a certain way. It's about you being healthy and strong and
mhm,
feeling a certain way. That is the most important thing. And, it's taken me years and years, because we're brainwashed like crazy out there, for me to realize that having a healthy body on the inside and being strong is what matters, not what it looks like on the outside.
yes, yeah, very
Yeah.
true. I have learned that too. That it's not the figure. It's not
Nope.
like if you look really good, like in your size, this one and this. I'm like, it's not that. It's the inside.
No.
Yeah. I know you've given like a little information about why you chose this topic, but I still wanted to ask you what made you choose this topic.
Yeah. I've been helping owners for over 20 years, entrepreneurs launch businesses. They've come from every walk of life. They've come from bankers, nurses, just like you, Naomi. They've been stay at home moms, and they want to make a difference. They want to do something in their community. They want to work with children, or they want to make a difference. They want to leave a mark on someone's life. They want to make an impact, which is a lot of what you were talking about earlier, about what is your purpose, right? God put us here on earth, whether you believe in God or not, it's your choice. I believe in God, so that's who I talk about. He put us here on earth to live out a specific purpose that's unique to us, right? Naomi, you couldn't do what I do. I can't do what you do. Even if we were in the exact same profession,
Very
there
true.
is not anyone that duplicates Naomi as a nurse in the management position that you're in. Not one. There just isn't, right? Because we have our own fingerprint that doesn't match any.
Mhm.
Imagine that. There are millions of people on this earth and not one fingerprint DNA, right? They're all different. Our pupil, all the different things about us make us unique. So if you believe that and you know that, then you know that you have a specific purpose of a combination of what your skill sets are, what your education has been, what your knowledge is, what your experience has been, and the path you've taken. All of that is a culmination that makes us unique. And by design, it makes us stand out if we allow it to let us stand out, right? Society and culture does not want that. It never has. It's always wanted you to blend in, be
Yes.
like everyone else. That's why FOMO exists, right? The fear of missing out. I have zero fear of missing anything. I know that sounds weird, but I just don't, right? If I have a choice of things that I want to do and things that are presented to me, and if everyone in the community is always going to this wine club or always going to this book club and I don't go, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm missing out. No one's going to know who I am because I'm going to find something that I enjoy in the community to do. And that's where I'm going to find those people. Right. So, kind of like in my community where I live now, I know you and I used to live next door to each other, but I moved out to Eastmark in Mesa, Arizona. Big community out here, and I run the Veterans Day event every year because it means something to me. I have many veterans in my family. I love honoring the vets and the people that fight for our freedoms and what the flag stands for. And that's what I do every year. And half of the people that, are in the community that are at all the other events aren't even at that event. But that's the one I love. And that's where I pour my heart into. So we need to do what lights us up and not what other people think, right? Not what other people are telling us we should be, who we should be, what we should do, and how we should do it. God gave us an intuition. And that's the feelings and those urges that we get and the pulls that we get when we know, when people go, oh my gosh, hindsight's 2020. I knew I shouldn't have done this. When you say that to yourself, go back and think, what was that feeling that I had that told me I shouldn't do it? But I didn't listen to it. I listened to everyone else instead, and I still pressed forward. If we would make our own choices, then we would have the desired success in our life to live the way we want to live. And I'm not saying if you hate your corporate job, you should tell them to kiss your butt and leave, because you have to have a plan. That's about living your life by design. You have to have a plan. However, if you are one of those employees that was laid off or furloughed for a while, or there's no loyalty to you in the company at all after going through this pandemic, and you feel like at any point they could just let you go again, that's living your life by default. You're just allowing things to happen around you. Why not look at going somewhere else or getting a different job that's more secure if you like to have a job, or starting your own business? When we start researching and looking into how we can do things the way we want to do things and design the way we want to do things, then that's how we live our life, by that design piece. And that's so important. And that's what I did. When I left corporate America, I started a community and a business, and I was bound and determined to be successful. And there was no other option. I think many people have, it's okay if it doesn't work, I'll just go get a job, right? That's in the back of their head. If
Yeah.
this entrepreneur thing doesn't work, I'll just go get a job. Well, when you have another option, you don't have to really put 1,000% into this. But when you burn all the boats, and that's a story of these warriors that went to battle, they were outnumbered. They were not supposed to win. This was way, way, way back in the day. And they asked their captain, or, whoever he was, lieutenant at the time, and said, Colonel, what do we do if we don't win? He said, winning's not an option. Losing's not an option. Go burn all the boats. So they burnt all the boats that they came on, so they couldn't leave. So they had to win, and they won. It's a mindset,
Yeah.
the mindset.
You are right. So when you mentioned FOMO, I was like, it leads me to my next question. In this day, the world is moving so fast that we are so busy enough that we don't even stop to think where are we right now? So is there a gauge, or how can we know if we are in fact actually living the life we wanted?
Well, I would say check in with yourself. Are you happy? Because I get a question like this almost every time I'm interviewed, Naomi. People will ask me the question, "What is success to you?" Well, what do you think the most common answer to that is? Oh, making a lot of money, or right? Everyone thinks success means you make a lot of money and you've maybe built a company or whatever it is, right? Or climb the corporate ladder or whatever. Success in your life should look like happiness, should look like joy, should look like satisfaction, should look like you wake up every day happy that you're alive, that you're excited to do what it is that you do every day, or see the people you see, or spend the time with the people that you love. Because, this has been said 1,000 times, Naomi. It will be said another million times after today. When you are on your last days, unless you're killed in a fiery crash or something happens where it's instantaneous, or die in your sleep, right? When you are on your last days, the last thing that anyone is going to talk about is how much money do I have in the bank? And I really wish I would have worked more, right? But they will regret the things they didn't do. I really wish I would have taken that vacation, or I really wish I wouldn't have spent 50 years in corporate America, and I would have just taken that risk to start that business just to see if I could have done it, right? It's the regrets of things we didn't do, and the people that we're going to want around us are the ones that we love, right? We're not going to want a coworker sitting there. I'm
Yes.
just trying to be honest with everyone. Think about it. So when you're not promised tomorrow, we never know when our time on this earth is done. And if you don't know when your time on this earth is done, do with it what you will to satisfy what you want every single day. So if you hate your job, find the good things in your job that you love, that light you up, or find new skills to start working on, or go back to school, or whatever it may be. Start a little side thing. What can you do to bring joy and happiness and satisfaction into your life every day? What can you do, right? And then that way, that job doesn't look so bad because you're focusing on the things that are good. We can see that the glass is half empty or half full in every situation. It's perspective. It really is perspective. That is what has everything to do with by default or by design. And in
Yes.
everything we do, our fitness, our eating habits, whatever we do, and we can't beat ourselves up because failure's part of the process. If you don't fail, then you don't know which direction to go, right? Then we're not bumped over to this path or bumped over to that path. So failure's part of it. I remember working with a company called the Little Gym for many, many, many years. And at this company, we had we had gymnastics classes for children 4 months, starting at 4 months. And
Wow.
women would say, "Why do I need my child in a class at 4 months?" Well, there's a lot of development that happens at 4 months old, with lifting their head, being on their bellies. They can hold, grip things, right? You're teaching them how to grip. So a lot of fine motor skills happen right at that age. My favorite age is when they get to the point where they're able to reach for a bar. They're probably 12 months old, 15 months old, where they can stand on a little, trap, and they can reach for a bar. And when you have the bar right there and they can reach it, they'll all reach it every time and pick their feet up and swing. But when you move it back and they have to reach, you watch the children that are willing to risk and the ones that aren't, just at
Yes.
that age. And
Mhm.
some children will try to reach, and they can't. And they'll just sit there, get down, and go somewhere else. The other ones will just reach out for that bar and they're going for it, right? And if they fall, they're safe because they're landing in a safe place. And it goes to show them that it's not so bad if you fall. You
Yeah.
you get a little scared, but you don't hurt yourself. So you can get right back up and do it again. And it teaches them so many life skills. And I want all the adults listening to this
Yeah.
today that you're not, it's if you make a list of everything that could go wrong when you fail, and death is not on the list, then go for it. Honestly, if death is not on the list, then go for it because you can recover from everything else.
Yeah, we've been through a lot, right? You can recover. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yes.
really like that. To
Yeah.
start that at that very young age.
Yeah.
For me too, like you mentioned about success, really have different meanings. So there's no there's no specific meaning of success. Success, you're the only person who can define your success, right?
You
Because
could look it up
success
in the
for
dictionary,
somebody,
I'm
yeah,
sure. I'm sure there's a definition in the dictionary, but that means nothing in the
nothing.
real
Yep,
world.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
Because success for you may not be a success for others, right?
Yeah, success for you, if you were to sit and define your success, Naomi, it's gonna be totally different than what mine
Yes.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very true. So, what do we need to become in order to become the person that we need to be? What
Oh,
can we do now to be
yeah.
that person?
I'm glad you asked that question because there's really one thing, and I learned this through my taekwondo practices. I've learned this through being mentored. I've learned this through working with coaches. The number one thing that you have to become is self-confident.
Mm,
You have to raise your self-esteem, you have to have belief in yourself, and you have to raise your self-confidence. That sounds so much easier to do than what it really is. I say that, but yeah, I have people over and over again say, "But how do I do that? How do I raise my self-confidence?" So, for all of those of you out there listening, one of the best ways to do that is mantras work. Mantras work where you look in the mirror every day and say, "I am enough. I'm beautiful. I love myself." Those work, but honestly, you have to believe it in your subconscious, which is the toughest one to get to. So, reading, gaining knowledge in an area, taking action on things that you want to do and succeeding at those. I've had clients, Naomi, that were struggling to follow through on anything. So they would start, but then they would just, oh, no one's buying anything, so I'm done. Right? They never followed through. It would be like starting college, but then quitting and not getting starting school and not graduating high school or something, getting your diploma. They just stop. And so I would say to them, you need a finish line, like an actual finish line. I want you to go sign up for a 5K. It's 3 miles, you can walk it. I want you to go sign up for some 1 mile run, something that you physically start, sign up for, commit to, finish, cross the finish line and say I did it. We need wins in our lives. So you can do mantras every day. You can read self development books. You can write gratitudes like I do every morning. All of these things help and they are tools to use, but you have to be in action. You have to be doing something in action toward what it is to create that self confidence. So, if you want to be a stronger, healthier body, you have to be doing something. It doesn't mean that you go to the gym and you run 10 miles and then you work out for 3 hours and lift the heaviest weight you've ever done, because that'll last one time and you'll never go back. I'm just being honest. You have to take it easy, right? Walk every single day. Just start with that. Don't even change your eating. Just walk. And then maybe in a month you stop all sodas and no more sugary sodas. And then but you're still walking. And now you're walking, you're like, I feel really good. So now you're walking 3 miles instead of 2 miles. What happens is we just continue compounding on those things that we're doing, which start creating this mass wave of changes in habits, forming new habits in our life. You have to form the habit of being confident.
Yep.
The fake it till you make it. You can fake and you'll never make. I'm sorry, but that doesn't work. You can fake confidence all day long, but underneath, you still don't believe in yourself. Underneath, you still think you're a failure. Underneath, you still think no one wants to work with you. Underneath, you still think you're the worst nurse ever. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
You can fake it, but you're never really going to make it because your mind is still telling you you're not what you think what you believe everyone else thinks you are. So the more that you are in action doing the things that you need to do to create that confidence, the more confident you're going to be. And that is really what creates success for anybody.
Yep, and telling yourself that every day, the self
Yeah.
affirmation every day would really push you actually to be there. Yeah, because and then you start with little things. You don't need to start like big, like
No,
instantly
I didn't say go
do
sign up
it.
for a
Right?
marathon.
It
That's
doesn't
why
work.
I that's why I said go for a mile run,
I
or,
know.
but I want someone to actually follow through on it.
Uh,
When you have to sign up, now there's a date, you commit to the date, you actually show up on that date, pick up your packet, you have a little run number. I don't care if you walk it. You could be the last person that crosses the finish line. This is not about being number 1. It's about committing, being loyal to the process, doing it and crossing the finish line, committing all the way through 100% and saying, I did it.
yeah.
That is huge for the human mind.
Very, very true. And then you can say, I actually did. Even if you fail, right? Even if you fail like for the first time, you did it. Then
Yeah.
you will have more confidence when you do
Yeah.
it again. And yeah, the most important really is to follow through, which most people fail, like because they I have a friend who said that if you just tried it for like one time or a year or two, you did not really try,
Hmm.
right? Just keep doing it until you really reach the goal you wanted. Yeah, I my next question is, what do you think people do right now that you think not valuable and not contributing to the world, or simply not contributing to a well-designed life? Because sometimes we're too busy to even evaluate ourselves.
So the question was, what are people doing that is not contributing? Okay, so
Yes.
I think one of the biggest things that happen out in society, which is the worst thing that has happened from the time we were born till today, however old you are, is judgment. So the number one thing for me, that I just don't tolerate, I don't allow, anywhere in my circles or in my community, within my clients, is judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. We don't judge other people, ever. And I really think that that's super important for us to remember, because we can't judge others, because when we're judging others, many people don't realize this, but it's never about them. It comes out as a reflection of you, because your judgment is your perspective, which is a reflection of you on them. But then that hurts other people because they don't know how to deflect that, and they think it's all about them, but it really isn't. It's whatever reflection that you have about that opinion. So the way that we treat other people, and the judgment that's laid on other people, has changed this world. It has divided this world. We don't have we don't have the right to judge other people and their decisions and why they did it. We do not have the right to judge that. And again, there is one judge, and it's God. I'm
Yes.
sorry. It is not us on this earth. And that has ruined, it really has ruined these cultures. And to me, when I find, that's why I created this community, when I find communities of people that are loving and caring and accepting, no matter what, it doesn't matter if you failed over and over again. We're humans. We deserve to respect each other and respect each other for where we are. And that's the other thing, is where you are today in your life. And I want your listeners to hear this, and those participating today, where you are in your life today is not who you are. You can create who you are to be anything. It's just where you are. So know that failures are going to happen, setbacks are going to happen, wins are going to happen. We need to celebrate those wins. And I don't think we give enough room for people to do that, because when they do celebrate a win, what are the comments that happen? Oh, she's whatever, or he's egotistical. It's like, why can't that person celebrate a win? Why can't we be happy for that person that celebrates a win? And it's so sad, because they're all equal. Like, you look at the Olympics, right? And The Olympic athletes that compete, we only remember the ones that win the gold. If you were in 5th place or 8th place, you're nobody. You're an elite athlete to be at the Olympics. The
Yes, yes.
level of an athlete that you are is so beyond what most of us could even imagine. And because they're 8th place, they're nothing. And that is just the saddest thing I've ever seen. We need to celebrate everyone individually for who they are as people and realize that it takes all of us to make this world run the way that it does. And we need to love others the way that we deserve to be treated. So if you're going to treat someone crappy or judge someone, just remember, how would that feel if someone did that to you? So if we walked around with the treating other people the way that we want to be treated in every single instance of what we did, the world would be a better place. And can you imagine if everybody did that and not just 10% of the people? It would change society forever. Yeah.
Very true. I love that you said that we don't have the right to judge others, right?
No.
And we have to celebrate people individually, like, and every little thing too. We have to celebrate every little thing. Sometimes we just look at the big picture, and if we did not reach that, we were like so sad.
Mhm.
But we if we look back to where we were and where you are at that point, there's a lot of things to be celebrated, right?
Yeah. So many things. And when I work with my clients and they're like having a time in their business or in their lives where they're feeling a little down about themselves, maybe they've had a bad month, or they're not sure they can do something. I sat at a dinner last Saturday with a friend that I worked with for years, and she brought her best friend with her from California. She's a photographer. And she said to me, I mean, I know I could do the event. I, what if it doesn't turn out? What if it doesn't turn out the way people expect? What if it is a failure? And I looked at her and I said, okay, noted, totally viable. I get that. Name one time in your life thus far up to now that you've done something that you weren't able to follow through on and actually, you know, do. And she just started crying. And she looked at me and she said, there hasn't been one time. I said, exactly. We have to remember for ourselves all of the things that are capable of doing and have done up to today. And we forget that because our brains aren't focused on all the great things that we've done. They're focused on all the things that have gone wrong. But if you stop and think back of all of the amazing things that you've been able to accomplish and do, that fuels your confidence and success in the next project or the
Yes,
next endeavor.
very, very true.
Yeah.
And before we proceed, I just would like to thank those who are watching us live. They're joining us live. Jigs, thank you so much. My classmate Wang is here. She said she's learning so much. And then she also said that she noted this: you have to be in action to develop self confidence, which is really, really true. And self confidence is not developed like just like now I'm self confident. No, all the hard things that we did and all the failures actually develop your self confidence. So I guess my next that triggers my next question. So my next question is, can you? Oh, actually, not a question. Yeah, actually, can you give us at least three strategies or tools to begin the process to design a best life?
Yeah. First of all, I would say, we need to take some time to step back, sit with ourselves, and note what are the things in my life that I absolutely love right now? In fact, when you write it, it should make you smile. Right? So if it's going out to dinner with my mother-in-law or, taking my grandkids shopping or playing at the park with them, something like that. When you write it down, you should be smiling, right? This is the love list. This is the list of things that you love in your life right now. And then you realize on that list, how much time are you really spending on those things? Are you seeing them once a month and spending 10 minutes with them and you love it so much, but you realize if I could just get, once a week an hour with them or twice a month an hour with them, right? So of those things that light you up, I want you to ask yourself the question, why aren't you doing more of that, right? And then the excuses come out. I don't have enough time. We all have 24 hours in a day, by the way. Every single one of us, it's equal across the board. And I'm not saying you have to only sleep 4 hours and because I'm not a 4 hour person. I used to be when I was in corporate America. I would sleep 4 to 5 hours, and that's not healthy for you, right? Your body is so much healthier if you sleep a lot. So, 7 to 9 hours. So with that being said, look at the list, what lights you up, and then why aren't you spending more time in that area? Then I want you to write a list of things that you're doing that consume a lot of your time right now, and I want you to rate them. Are they what you want to be doing in your life? And if they're not, can you change them? The answer is yes. When anyone says to me, I can't change that, you need to exchange the word can't with won't, because that's what you're saying. When you say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have enough time, I can't stop by. No, it's not important enough to you. So you won't stop by because you're not going to make the time to make it happen. Because when things are important to you, you make the time and you make it happen. So that's number one. You got to go through the strategy to figure it out. Then you have to be in action. Second thing, you have to take steps for you to be able to do those things. So, what is it going to take for you to put those things in action, for you to start making those changes? Again, it's like when you say you want to lose 50 pounds, you don't go on a diet where you fast for a week, go to the gym every day. It's not going to happen in a week. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Your life is a marathon, not a sprint. And so many people, because of the way technology has been created, online resources have been created, everyone wants instant gratification. It doesn't work that way. That's why liposuction exists. That's why all of these whole sculpting and things exist out there, because people don't want to take the time to work on their healthy bodies. They just want to go into an office and come out a different shape. It's seriously, that's why plastic surgery exists. That's why all of it exists. It is what it is. So if you want to design the life, you have to acknowledge where you are today. That was the first step. Then you have to ask yourself, why am I not doing more of what I love? Or maybe there's things that you love that you're not doing at all, that you need to start adding in. And when people tell me I would love to do this, but I don't have the money, I've had friends that have worked at the same job for so many years and I've left, and they said, I can't do that because I have bills to pay. And I said, don't you think I had bills to pay when I left? Don't you think I had all the same stuff that you had when I left? The difference was I believed I could do it. And I believed in myself that I was going to make it happen. And the difference between why one person's here and one person's here and has taken the risk, because it's a leap of faith that you have to take, is because this person believed they could do it, even though they were scared, even though there was a lot of fear, and even though they didn't know exactly how they were going to do it, they believed it could still happen because they wanted a different life. So when you want it bad enough and you're willing to burn all the other options, then you'll do it. There hasn't been a time in your life when you haven't. So, and then the last thing I would say is ask, get the knowledge, gain the wisdom, talk to people that have done it before you. What do you want to create in your life that isn't there right now? And how do you want to do that? Ask the people that have created that in their life. Ask them if you want to start a business. Ask them if you want to become a mother, but you're scared to death and you've never been a mother before. And you really are scared to get pregnant and have a baby and how it's going to change your life. Sit down and talk to mothers. Talk to working mothers if you're a working mother, or a mother that has a career and you're like, how could you ever fit a baby into, this life? Talk to people, learn how to do it, and then work with people that help you along the way. I know this one thing. There are personal trainers out there and coaches in every sport, right? Why do they exist? They exist to help keep us accountable. They exist to help fuel our success, to teach us, to give us tools, to guide us, right? You need to open your mouth and ask and get someone on your side that can be there to fuel you. And you don't have to pay someone necessarily. You can just ask someone who's done it before you, ask them questions. But unless you're inquisitive, unless you're going to get out there and put effort toward what you're doing, I hate to break it to you, but nobody's coming and no one else gives a crap about your life more than you do. They don't. They don't.
Very,
So
very true.
you have to give yourself the permission, take the steps for you and do what it is that you want to do, because no one's coming. I call it lead without permission. People wait for permission forever to do things and it never comes. We have to give it to ourselves and make the choices, right? And make the plan. Make the plan. If you plan out dates and say, I want to quit my job in 5 years and become an entrepreneur. Now, back up the 5 years. What do you have to do in the next year to make that a reality? Do you need to start getting some training in another technical area? Do you need to learn some skills based on the job that you want to open? Do you need to create a website? Do you need to create a product? Do you need to test a product? Do you need to learn some skills? What do you have to start doing to make that a reality? When you get it out there, it's called the law of the universe, the law of attraction. It doesn't work if you just sit in your house and meditate. The car's not going to drop in your driveway. Prince Charming's not going to walk through the front door if you're meditating and saying. You have to be in action. Again, back to the action part. The law of the universe and attraction says, you do this, I'll match you, right? That's what happens. So you start working toward that and you get the goal out there, then it will start working toward you, right? And then the universe starts working and lining people up in your path on how that needs to happen. That's how it works. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the 3 steps.
Very good. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot from those 3 steps. So yeah, you're right. Life is a decision. Success is a decision. You
Mhm.
give yourself permission. You don't need anybody else to give that permission. Because even if people tell you yes, you can do it, but if you don't believe it in yourself, like, you really can't, because you did not give yourself permission to do it. And you're right, we all got 24 hours a day and 168 hours a week. So I started doing this to my team before. I'm like, look at your week. How many hours are you spending sleeping? If you're working full time, so you're spending like 40 hours, and you'll be surprised, you'll really have a lot of time that you are not using. How do you call that? It's not very, you're not using it productively. You'll
Yeah,
be
you're not using
surprised.
it wisely. Yeah, you're just wasting the time. And you're
Yes, you
right.
are.
When we bring a spotlight and put a spotlight on something specific like the hours that we're working, I get that same thing, Naomi. People will say to me, I don't know how you get done what you get done. Like, you get so much done in a day. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. Do you ever sleep? Do you ever eat? And I just look at my day and I say, of course I do. And I have time to see my grandkids or take them to school or whatever. I'm very specific about what I do and which hours and how I get it done. And I block myself out on time in my day because I'm very disciplined that way. But that's how I can be disciplined, is blocking out the things I need to do, because we need to be working on the things that are most important to us, right? And moves our business forward or moves our life forward or moves our confidence forward as a mom, whatever that is. We just need to be working on those things.
Yes, yes, very true. Action again, action. So I started asking this to my team too, and I wanted to ask you, what would you do if you knew that you couldn't fail?
Hmm. That's interesting, because I kind of feel that way a little bit now, because I see failure in a very different way. So I think it's perspective, Naomi, of how you see failure. So in my mind, I know my perseverance level on anything and how I persevere and how I'm stubborn and don't want to give up on something, and how I've learned to trust my heart and my intuition on what I should do and shouldn't do and what's guiding me. And I've had a lot of business ventures come my way, opportunities. I've started down certain paths and it doesn't feel right. So then all of a sudden I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I don't think I should do this. And I don't care what anyone else thinks. Backed out of it. Sorry, I confused everyone. I just went through this not too long ago. Let's set the record straight. Here's what I'm doing now. And that's a great lesson for everyone to learn, because even though we go down a path and think we want to do this and we start working on it and putting plans together and doing it, and then we realize, man, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's not lighting me up. It's okay to say, nah, I don't want to do that. I mean, I have built tens and thousands of dollars worth of websites that I've paid money for and invested in that I've never launched because I decided I didn't want to do that business. So some people see that as failure. I don't. I see it as I needed to go through that to learn these lessons to get me where I am today, to
Yeah.
know that I can trust myself 1,000%. I need to listen to my intuition in my heart to tell me what it is I should be doing. Because when I'm lit and I'm happy and I am know that it's what I want to do, I'm on fire and I can make anything happen. And when you believe in yourself that much, because I mean, why else wouldn't you, right? If you believe in yourself that much that you can do it, you automatically show others around you that they can do it too. And it's a beautiful gift that you give to others, but they're so convinced by you and your passion and what you're doing, they'll buy your products, they'll buy your services. It's just the way it works. But if you're out there like, yeah, I can kind of help you, I'm not really sure, no one wants to work with anyone like that, right? I mean, if you're out there and you're like, well, I wrote this book, I mean, it's an okay read if you guys want to buy it. But if you get out there and you're like, this book is going to change your life, you can't not read this book and still be successful. This
Mhm.
book is what is going to put you on the right path. Everyone's going to buy it. But
Yep.
if you get out there and like, oh, I don't know. So it starts with self-assurity. And I feel that way. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I have spent years building my self-confidence, building my self-esteem. And I still get knocked down every once in a while by something I hear someone else say, or a feeling that I get that maybe I don't want to do this, or I got to let these people down because they want me to go do this with them, but I'm not feeling it. So I'm going to have to tell them I don't want to do it. Right. We question ourselves. We have self-doubt. We have fear. Fear is the number one blocker for every person out there, is fear. The
Yep.
number one.
Very true. Why
Yeah.
not use that fear as fuel, right? Like
Yes.
fuel to
Yes.
for you to succeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the only way you grow, right? If you're not fearful about something and about a little failure, and you're not fearful going into something like, I'm going to do everything I can to make it work, and what if it doesn't work? Like, there has to be a little bit of that, because that's when we're in the growth period. If we're not uncomfortable at all and we're just comfortable, then we're not growing. We're just staying
Right.
stagnant where we are. And that's
Yeah.
not healthy either.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was reading one of, well, there's one word that I kept in from one author. It says She said that, do something that sparks your creativity. Like,
Mhm.
is it something? Is it like teaching people? Is it coaching people? Is it like being a teacher, being a nurse, being something that sparks your creativity? And do it scared, do it scared, because that's how you develop yourself. You develop your self-confidence, and that's how people would develop their trust and confidence in you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there is just one takeaway, the biggest takeaway for today's session, what would what would you what is this? Please share what is the number one takeaway that you really want the audience to absorb from this session.
I think it's what you just said, Naomi, that sums up everything. The number one blocker for every human is fear. That's why they don't do something and take action. It's the number one blocker. So, but what you just said, which is allow your fear to be your fuel, that's the number one thing that we can leave everyone with today. That I think is the best thing that we can leave everyone with today.
Yeah, yeah. I'm learning that too. We still have fear. I do have fear. Even if I do this, like every time, I still, like every time before we start, you still have that anxiety or fear, but just do it, and you'll be able to do, you'll be successful in what you wanted. You'll be able to live your life by design.
Yeah.
So, Colin, thank you so much for your time and for the all the knowledge and for inspiring us today. Would you like our audience, would you like to invite our audience with to your group? I know I've added the link to the
Yeah.
description.
There's
And
several different ways to learn about me. You can go to Lead Up for Women. I've been running Lead Up for Women since 2018. It's a community, like we talked about in the beginning, of women that are seen but not invisible, right? You can, this is, it's, I'm all about promoting women to be on platforms for community, for networking, for collaboration. This is how you grow your, this is how you grow and expand your influence on other people. And I'm all about individuality and showing up authentically as yourself, right? So I show up everywhere. Every interview, you get me. It's just how I show up, right? I don't mask that for anything else. And you can go to ColleenBiggs.net. ColleenBiggs.net. That's another place that you can find me and learn all about me, my coaching opportunities, my community opportunities, the books that I've written. I have 5 number one bestsellers this year. There's a many plethora of areas that you can go find me. And let me tell you, when I became an author this year and wrote 4 additional books, I was scared to death. Right. When I became a radio show host in 2019, I was scared to death. I'd have never been a radio show host. I didn't know how to interview people. I didn't know how to do any of that. And I just sat up night after night listening to podcasts and figured, I can do this. This is easy. I can do this. So I had to like get scared first. Then that fear fueled me to go learn a little bit more of what I needed to learn. And then when I got out there and learned a little bit more of what I needed to learn, then I felt confident. And now I feel confident doing it. Almost to the point where it's too comfortable, Naomi. And I feel like I got to go do something else that scares me a little bit more with the podcast to kind of stretch myself a little bit more. I've had some celebrities on, and interviewed them on the podcast, which scared me a little bit because they were these big no names. And, I'm like, oh my gosh, they've probably been on these major podcasts. And here I am interviewing them. Right. So it's amazing to me how other people are just like us. We put them on a pedestal. I've reached out to Marie Farleo. She's an author, and we've had conversations. Mike Michalowicz, right? He wrote Profit First. I got a package in the mail from him the other day. Him and I are in conversations. I'm saying this because we put people on pedestals thinking they're not like us. They're just people. So if you want to reach out to Jennifer Aniston, reach out to her on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like reach
right.
out to anyone that you want to reach out to and do it scared. Do it fearful, but do it. But
Very,
do it.
very true. Yeah, I just remembered a friend, a now millionaire friend, told us before when he wasn't a millionaire. He said, "If you want to be a millionaire, be with millionaires."
Yeah.
Like, like he was like, if you want to, if you have like 5 millionaires in people, that you like, be with them. You may be the sixth. So he is now a millionaire. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. So you can be what you wanted to be if you.
I'm glad you said that because the 5 people you hang around with the most are going to be who you're like the most. So
Very
your network is your net worth. That's what they say. Your network is your net worth. So remember that. Make sure you are getting the people out of your life that are negative, that are poo-pooing on you, that don't feel your success, that aren't having, that aren't supporting you in moving forward with that fear. and only bring the people in your life that can teach you. And I always say, never be the smartest person in the room, ever.
Yes. Yeah, be coachable.
Yes.
Be coachable all the time. Know that, you can always learn from somebody, even if you are already, if you can be considered an expert in one thing, you can still learn something else from somebody.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you
Thanks.
do. Thank you so much, Colleen, for your time.
This
I,
was
I,
fun.
I can talk to you the whole day.
It was so much fun.
Please, the whole day. So thank you so much. You
So
are
welcome.
appreciated. So to close this, everyone, life begins like a big empty room in need of a decorator, right? There's no curtain, no carpet, no color, nothing to show your personality or distinguish you from others. Do not underestimate the power of your mind and your emotions. How we react or respond to life challenges is up to us. How we show up to your job, your businesses, your day to day activity, how you show up to the world is up to us. So, how we interact with what's happening around us is up to us. So, it is also up to us on how we're going to decorate that big empty room. It's up to you which way to go. It can be confusing, but life is a choice. It is up to you how you would live your life by design and not by default. Thank you so much,
Love it.
everyone. Thank you so much, Colleen.
Thank
And may
you.
God bless you all. Bye. Till next episode. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bless.